You've heard me speak many times about the vow of chastity, poverty, and obedience, and how if we are lured by money as our primary motive, or if we're lured by pleasures of the flesh, which could include sex or dessert, it's a sign that we are not appreciating not knowing, because the mind says we know that if we get this thing, we will feel happy. And I've spoken about how that lure of breaking the vows of poverty and chastity take us out of being present, making this moment about this moment, which is part of the law of obedience, the vow of obedience. We disobey, routinely break our obligation, and don't make this moment about this moment because we're sure we know something is good or bad, or we feel we need to know. And often it's around the vows of poverty and chastity. In other words, we know we need money. We know we need dessert. We know we need sex. Or we know we don't want money. We know we don't want sex. We know we don't want dessert. It could be restraint, limitation. Sphere 8, Sphere 5, or it could be a desire to conquer and have that thing. Money, sex, dessert, etc. But what I've never said before, and I think that maybe the Queen of Swords is helpful with this, because it came up during making this moment about this moment in the trial. I think the reason that we want to break these vows, the reason we want money, the excitement of money, the security of money, sex, and dessert, is because then finally we can be present. If we're not worried about making more money, if we're excited about the money we're getting, or we're excited about the sex or dessert we're getting, we're present. Now, granted, of course, breaking the vow means you're leaving the present. So, worried about money in the future, a really reasonable thing to worry about, but it's a violation of the vow of poverty, which is to not put money first. And so, the breaking of the vow is leaving this present moment to worry about some future income or lack of income. And so the way we respond to that thought about the future of our income or lack of income is making this moment about this moment by appreciating not knowing. We don't know whether money will come or not, or should come or not. Maybe it shouldn't. Maybe it's best for us if it doesn't come. As similar to sex and dessert. And unconditional self-acceptance, unconditional positive self-regard. Because the reason we are worried about money, the reason we're worried about or craving some kind of flesh-oriented satisfaction like food or sex is because we don't have unconditional self-acceptance. It's either conditional or no self-acceptance. Because we know this because those people who are in a state of awakening, who are completely accepting themselves, others in the world, they are, for the most part, unless their shadow element is operating, not craving money and sex. If you see a guru who's craving money and sex, then they're probably not actually awakened. It could be a shadow expression, but probably not. Not helpful to be around them, probably. And it is a person who is not able to be present because they're needing that desire. Now, irony is, you can't say 100% because when you're having sex or indulging sweets, at least for the beginning of it, I think it wears off, you're present. But if they're already present, that person is already always present, and they don't need sex or dessert to get them to a state of presence, they're already there. So you see how unconditional self-regard, unconditional positive self-regard, unconditional self-acceptance, making this moment about this moment, and appreciating not knowing are all linked together. They're all supportive of each other. We can say that the law of obedience is to make this moment about this moment. The subparts are appreciating not knowing, because it supports making this moment about this moment, which is our obligation. We reciprocate to the present moment by appreciating not knowing. We don't know what's going to happen. We're in the present moment. We're in the present moment. We don't know anything. And it's all supported by unconditional positive self-regard. All supported by unconditional positive self-regard, unconditional self-acceptance. And so we draw the cards in relationship to this desire to, because during the day, we can easily be lured by various things. We make other things a priority other than making this moment about this moment. Often it's about those vows of poverty and chastity, but it could be other things. It could be about power, money and power, or fearing the loss of power, which may not manifest as money or sex or dessert. There's other ways it could manifest, like respect. In any case, so the three cards we got, the first was the Eight of Pentacles. Which corresponds in my system to Sphere 8, the group, doing what's expected of you, static masculine, organizations, responsibilities, and keeping your head down and doing your work. And so, perhaps because of the card, or coincidentally, I got someone who was critical of me, and I simply accepted it without comment. I simply complied with their request. I didn't try to defend myself or break away. That's Sphere 8. Then, with the sword, the Queen of Swords, we can say that I had an innovation with respect to the speaking of the vows, whereas originally I spoke of them only as distracting you from the present moment. But the extra insight of the reason we want to break those vows, the reason we want to have sex or food or money, is so that we can be present, because we don't want to be pulled out of the present, and when we get those things, we have maybe a chance of being present a little bit. Not always, but often when you have enough money, when you have enough sex, when you have enough food, you can be present, because you're not needing to get any more of those things. And then the final card we got was the Sun card, which is bringing understanding to purpose and purpose to understanding. And bowing your head. And when there's unconditional self-acceptance, there's a greater chance of fulfilling our purpose of making this moment about this moment. People think the purpose is such a grandiose thing. Like follow your bliss, or follow your blisters. That was all about Joseph Campbell and the idea of pursuing what makes you happy. But it got misused. He even admitted it. But the idea is that our bliss and our obligation is to make this moment about this moment. And so, if we bring understanding of purpose, we don't get carried into an egoic purpose. And if we bring purpose to understanding, we focus on constantly seeing when we lose the moment and bringing ourselves back. Noting when our thoughts are trying to pull us out of the